This is Travis Wingoodso, and this video is sponsored by Drops, or Dots, not Drops. I was in the mood for them. I saw them at the grocery store. Well, it looks like you can see the news that I'm watching. I've muted it so you can't hear it. I just wanted to update you guys. I've got a couple of videos that I was obtaining clips for. I'm going to do more clip videos, like the more recent ones I've done. One is about Utah killing Mutants. That one is massive. There are many different things that Utah is doing to kill Utahns, and so that's going to take some time to get the sections out of the clips and then assemble them into a video form. The other one is the one I was working on. I can't remember what it was. Let me check. I had to make a file for all of the LDS clips and LDS censorship. Yeah, that's the one. LDS church religious rights to security and censorship. And that one, I've got quite a bit on that, and that's going to take some time also. I got started into it and then came up with the other one this morning and got that posted. And then I really wanted to get to, because we're in the time frame of when it's all going to hit the fan, conspiratorial treason against the United States by the LDS Brighamite Church. I'll have to figure out a way to title that. But yeah, Brigham Young was the illegitimate successor, and it wasn't just because he wanted to be it and he was able to get people to follow him. There was a lot more involved. It was more devious. It involved murder, and it involved taking over the church so that they can control the minds of the people who follow, and they are part of the Illuminati Threat. Brigham Young was. Whereas the Smith family, they were a part of exposing the Illuminati Threat. That's what the Book of Mormon is about. Who do you think the Gadianton robbers are? You know, why do you think it's in a distant time period rather than in Joseph's time period? He's referring to the Illuminati threat to destroy America. They couldn't do it back then. There wasn't enough people, and then businesses had not made money off of developing the land yet. And so they needed to get the United States developed first and populate it in mass before they then attack. And that's the threat that the Illuminati had planned way back when. And Joseph Smith knew about it because of William Morgan, and wrote the Book of Mormon specifically designed to warn America. It wasn't really intended to go to the world, but the concept of gathering people from all over the world to join in the fight against the Illuminati threat that was going to take over the United States and establish a king on the throne of the United States. You know, Trump thinks he's king. Time magazine has him looking in a mirror as king. He said he wants to be just like the Chinese emperor for life. That was the warning, and we've all been warned about it. But those in power who were orchestrating it had changed the definition of conspiracy theory so that it now is a joke concept. When you talk about conspiracy theories, you talk about false information designed to scare people and lead them astray. And that's not what conspiracy theory means. Conspiracy simply means more than two people are planned to commit crime. And theory is a scientific process by which you can test for confirmation. So, yeah, there's nothing fake in that. It was changed in definition by those in power who wanted to disinform the populace. And so then you have the disinformation that comes out and helps support the new definition of conspiracy theory, of lizard aliens taking over the world, and underground mole men, or whatever they come up with. And so, yeah, it's all part of the disinformation that was intended. So it's all real. And, Joseph Smith intended to save the United States, but he was murdered and Brigham Young took over, and now Nelson and the apostles are aiding and abetting in that conspiracy that was planned long, long ago. And that's why Utah is killing Utahns, because the Mormon Church is telling the Utah legislature to do that, and why he's doing all sorts of things, and yeah, I'm gathering the clips. I'm gonna work on them. It may not be today, so that you know. So Mormons, you can be haters all you want, but you were warned by the ones who were planning it. Heber C. Kimball, he was one of the Freemasons that were the bad Freemasons who intended to take over the United States. He and his buddy Brigham Young and the Smith family were a part of the good Freemasons, if you can wrap your head around that concept. So yeah, the anti-Freemasonic movement in 1827, because William Morgan was the issue in 26. But, so yeah, this is all part of what I intended to do for the real history of the LDS Church. And it was going to be a very, very long video series, and so thus the conspiracy theory would have been part of the whole thing. And so I was hoping that I could get right to the point, but I tend to have so much knowledge that there's so much to get out and explain to people that it just can't be covered in a 5 to 15 minute video. So yeah, so the church is trying to censor information and prevent people from trusting in the news, being able to access the news. Nelson is saying social media is fake. And so I've got clips where the church initially were saying, hey, use social media to spread the gospel. And now Nelson is saying, get away from social media, stay away, don't touch it. So, yeah, there's lots of bad mojo going on here, and yeah, all different types of problems here in Utah, and I've found clips to cover each one, and it's a big file that I have on that, so it'll take some time to work on it. So just be aware. I've warned you guys that Hinckley died under a lunar eclipse, Monson died under a lunar eclipse, and we've got a lunar eclipse again this year, and so anytime now it's going to happen, and I don't know what. I never know what. You don't know until it actually happens. I didn't know by reading Revelation 13 that the mark of the beast on the forehead would be the Trump MAGA hat. I had no idea until it happened. When I saw that it happened, I went, oh, there it is. Oh, look, Trump's speaking blasphemies over the TV as his image is broadcast through all the world. It's that simple. And then buy and sell without the mark of the beast. He wants an ID so that we buy groceries. This is all part of the plan that the Illuminati had orchestrated way back when. And so, yeah, the people who were catching on to the Walmart closings being used as FEMA concentration camps, and then they were down in Texas for the immigrants, that's all part of the testing of it. They're just testing us to see what they can get away with. And as long as we keep saying, oh, there's nothing we can do, oh, and they'll just continue, and they'll get worse and worse, like I said they would. So, yeah, that's the end of the world as you know it. I feel fine, but you guys are going to be panicking once it all happens. So, going to be 2019, I guess, that we'll see the results. So, yeah, I'm very concerned about CenturyLink throttling my service, because it's very apparent that they're testing to see how they can shut down the media when they act. So they've delayed it. It was supposed to happen in 2018, according to the Economist. The Economist put out an article, and those of you who are big on conspiracy theories, you know about it. And the gold thing on the Phoenix's neck said 2018, and the article talks about, you know, by 2018 there will be a new economy. And we've seen Bitcoin emerge. That's a con game. Don't get into Bitcoin, because it only works as long as people keep putting money into it. Once people stop putting money into it, the value of it drops. Or if the owners say, hey, I've got enough money now, see ya, suckers, they pull their money, and everybody else collapses as well. So Bitcoin is bad. It's just like the stock market. You know, it's for the rich. And if you're a sucker thinking you can put in a couple of $100, or even if you're lucky enough to put a couple thousand into the stock market and hoping that it'll be the next big thing that'll make you lots of money, you're just feeding the rich. And because it's the rich who control it. They put money into their own business, and when they do that, the stock rises, and so then they say, I want some more money now. I want to take a trip to the Bahamas or wherever they want to go. And so they sell the stock, and you lose out, but they make off big with it because they were the ones who sold the stock. And so you get screwed because they didn't provide you with insider information, and as a result, they make money and you lose. So that's how it works. And so today the stock market was indicating that people are again buying the stocks that they've been selling this December, and they were making tons of money this December, because you know, it's different than the Great Depression. You know, the Great Depression relied on other people investing in the companies. The concept of a business investing in themselves was not as known back then. So yeah, the businesses were the ones that were screwed back then, and they made sure it's not going to happen again. So yeah, there you go. So we're still waiting for the actual implementation. As you're well aware, they're going very slow in bringing this all about, and it's because they're testing us. And that's what Trump has published in his books. If you are a Trump lover, you should be reading his books, and you should know this. He throws out all sorts of things, and he sees which of those things he can get away with, and which things he has to hold off until a later time. That's what he did with the immigrants at the border. You know, he came out with it the very next day, after he was sworn in, and held off. He had been secretly doing it, and then earlier this year, Sessions spoke in California. We are now implementing, and the news freaked out, and Trump pretended to stop it, and he didn't. Now it's worse than then, and so yeah, that's how he does things. He just plays everybody for fools. He does whatever he wants, and if people stop him, he pretends to stop, and then he does it again later on. So, yeah, the news is chasing car keys, and fancy shiny objects, and they keep salivating over the fancy objects as he rings the bell for dinner time, and the news comes a-running, and they don't see the big picture. They don't see the things that are really serious and are a national threat, because Trump is a conspiratorial traitor to the United States. We have allowed a king on the throne of the United States, and he is a conspiratorial traitor against the United States. So that was what Joseph Smith warned us about, and the church are aiding and abetting with this operation that was planned long, long ago. So yes, the church, tells you to read the Book of Mormon, and they tell you that it compares with the latter days, and they tell you about what the true doctrine should be, but then they mingle it with false doctrine. That's the same thing. If you're not going to actually study your religion, you're going to be distracted by shiny emotional keys. Oh, Jesus, yay! And so that's how evil is, people. That's what they do. They pretend to be your friend. They pretend to speak for God. They pretend to have your interest in heart. And the fruits of it are clear. They don't. So, yeah. You've been fooled, Mormons. Just like I've been fooled. I was born and raised Mormon. My third great-grandfather was John Solomon Fulmer, who gave the single-shot pistol to Joseph Smith in the jail the morning before he was murdered that afternoon. And so, yeah, I had the family tradition of what actually was going on when the church was apparently announcing there was no such gun. And then I find out about it, and then I find out more that, oh, he also had a 6-shooter. So which one did he have? Oh, okay, so he shot 3 down the stairs. Okay, so then Hiram Smith was the one who had my third great-grandfather's gun. So, yeah. I already had the truth, and so it was just a matter of finding out the other facts that were not being disclosed by the church to put all the pieces together, and oh, okay, yeah, Brigham Young murdered Joseph Smith, got it. So you're not going to do your research, and you're just going to complain about me. So do your research, people. The answers are there. I found them. I knew how to look. I knew how to learn. If you're just going to regurgitate whatever anybody tells you to believe in, you're not going to learn. So, yeah, I was thinking about doing another version of that too, the regurgitation process that the church teaches, because that's what you Mormons believe in. In Moroni 10:3-5, that all you have to do is read, ponder, pray, and then you get spirit, and it says, yeah, that's right. That's regurgitation method. You sit in the class, the teacher tells you stuff, you're supposed to memorize it and answer on the tests. That's regurgitation education. You don't know anything more than what they tell you to believe. And so when you graduate from high school, you don't know how to work in a job. You have to get that experience. So, and that's a different kind of learning. Hands-on experience is a different kind of learning. And that's what Alma 32 And Moroni 10:3-5, and when interpreted correctly, is trying to tell you, you need experience education. And experience education is where you try until you find something that works. Because when you find out something doesn't work, then you stop doing it. Okay, that doesn't work. We're never going to do that again. So yeah, people, you say that the definition of insanity is repetitively doing something, hoping for a different result. And so, you know, Mormons, you can't do that. If it's not working, stop. Do something else. You know, the thing is that when it doesn't work, you don't know what else to do. And that's the sad part with the regurgitation learning that the church is giving you, is because your patriarchal blessings don't come true, or other blessings that you were given didn't happen. You weren't able to heal somebody, or the baby blessing didn't come to pass, or you know, and you wonder, well, why? What happened? What did I do wrong? Why doesn't God love me? It's because you're not understanding correctly. You've misunderstood because you were taught wrong. So, yeah. And so, all right. Well, I'm going too far, too long, so much. So this was just a follow-up. So, it's New Year's tomorrow, so I'll have plenty of time with no interruptions, hopefully. So, we'll see.